Hello, my name is Darren Woodfork. I'm an attorney in Scottsdale, Arizona. In my firm, we specialize in personal injury cases, car accident cases, slip and fall cases, things like that. One of the things that I just kind of want to remind everybody, and I think it's we as lawyers, we thought everybody knew this, but in a car accident case, we take those cases on what's called contingency fees, and what that means is that we basically take your case for free. And then at the end, if and when we recover for your injuries, our fees are a percentage of that recovery. Sometimes it's 25%, sometimes it's 33%, sometimes it's 28%. But our legal fees, we don't earn any fee unless you recover. Or to say it another way, if you don't recover, you don't have to pay your lawyer. That's what contingency fee means when you're dealing with personal injury cases. And I think that's and again, that's what it's always been for the most part. That car accident cases are taken basically for free, and then a percentage is taken after the recovery. I think what might be interesting, and when it kind of gets a little tricky anyway, is that if you don't really have a case, or you have a case that you want to just go forward on, for the principle of the case or whatever in the injury world, if there's a situation where it's like you want to go forward, and I advise you that it's not a good case or whatever, kind of like a 50-50 split or whatever, then in that type of case, I will basically have in my fee agreement with you that you'll be paying up front for the cost of the lawsuit. So you'll be paying for the filing of the lawsuit, the discovery, the depositions, things like that. And so then you're kind of like you're invested in the case because you want to go forward, and that there's no possible chance of it's possible that there's no chance of recovery. Again, contrast to the regular case, where as if you come in and then we take your case, we're going to front all those costs for you, where it's a cost of filing the case, hiring experts, taking depositions. When we take your case, we're going to front all that money for you. That also goes into the sentiment that if a personal injury lawyer takes your case, we believe in your case. We think that you were hurt. We think that we can prove it was somebody else's fault, and that's that. If we didn't believe in your case, we wouldn't take the case, because again, the firms were putting up all that cash to litigate the case or to go forward in the case. So if a personal injury lawyer takes your case, that means we believe in your case right off the bat. Finally, I'll just say, in all contracts, when it comes to hiring a personal injury lawyer, there are contingencies if the attorney-client relationship goes sour. If for whatever reason the firm thinks that you don't have a case, and the firm doesn't want you as a client anymore, we can just drop you as a client and you owe nothing. Okay, and so basically you don't have to pay for any of the time that we've spent on the case, and that's that. On the flip side, if you fire your lawyer during the personal injury case that they've done for free up to that point, then in the contract you're going to pay the lawyer's hourly fee up until that point. And so basically, if you go hire another lawyer, the first lawyer has a lien on hourly fees for all the work that was done on that case before you let go of the lawyer. So basically, that's the difference right there. If the lawyer drops a client, there's no fees whatsoever. If the client drops a lawyer, then that's the hourly fee of all the work that's been done. I can just say, in 25 years of practice, I take that back. I've had one client drop me as a lawyer, and then I had to basically bill them for all the hours I worked on the case up until that point. On the flip side, I think I probably had 7 or 8 people who I had to drop as clients, and like I said, they didn't have to pay me for anything, even some of the costs that I fronted for them in the litigation. But at some point, I just had to drop the client. But again, there's no charge for that. There was no charge for them as a client. So anyway, so that's a little bit about the fee structure when it comes to personal injury cases. It's pretty common knowledge. I mean, if you call around any other personal injury lawyers, or if you see the advertisements on TV, things like that, you'll see that they always talk about there's no fee unless you win. That's what that means, essentially. The lawyers are taking your case because we believe in it, and then in the hopes of recovering our fees or a percentage of that recovery. So anyways, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.